Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about something you and I see every single day, but we probably don't think about it in this way. We're talking about the hidden gold mine in what we usually call food waste. It's a really cool story about creativity, seeing things differently, and some seriously smart business ideas.
I mean, really think about it for a second. The crusts you trim off a sandwich, or that apple that's got a little bruise on it, is the trash can really their final destination? Or could they be the beginning of something totally new, something valuable?
So let's kick things off by just trying to wrap our heads around the scale of this whole thing. Think of this as the before picture in a really amazing transformation story.
Get this. In Taiwan alone, we're talking about more than 1 million tons of food being wasted every year. I mean, that number is it's huge. But here's the key thing to remember. This isn't just garbage. It's a massive pile of lost resources, lost nutrients, and honestly, lost opportunities.
So when we say food waste, what does that even mean? Well, it's not just stuff that's gone bad. It's the ugly produce, the perfectly delicious fruits and veggies that just look a bit weird so stores won't sell them. It's perfectly good leftovers. It's all the scraps from food production, like peels and crusts, or byproducts like the spent greens left over from making beer. It's even food that's past its best-by date but is still totally fine to eat. Basically, we're talking about a whole category of overlooked resources.
Now, what's so fascinating is that this idea of using every last bit isn't some new, trendy thing. Not at all. It's actually ancient wisdom. It's what our grandparents did and their grandparents before them. Okay, here's a perfect example you'll know. French toast. Believe it or not, it started out as pain perdu, which is French for lost bread. It was just a super clever way to rescue stale, hard bread that nobody wanted. You just soak it in some egg and milk, fry it up, and bam, a simple trick to avoid waste turned into one of the world's favorite breakfast dishes. And this kind of thinking is everywhere in Taiwanese culture too. You've got sai wei tong, which is this amazing, rich soup made from all the delicious leftovers from a big banquet. Or how about turning extra radishes into savory radish cakes? Even the idea of a laolu, that master stock that just gets more and more flavorful every time you use it, that's a perfect example of reusing a resource. It's been part of our food heritage forever. All right, so how are businesses today taking this old school wisdom and turning it into something new and exciting for the modern market? Well, this is where the magic of the circular economy comes in. The circular economy is, it's a game changer. Instead of our old system of take, make, and throw away, it's all about getting rid of the whole concept of waste in the first place. The goal is really simple, but it's totally revolutionary. Keep materials and resources in use for as long as you possibly can, and at the end of their life, figure out how to turn them back into something new. And this visual just makes it crystal clear, right? The old linear model is basically a one-way street straight to the dump, but the circular model, that's a loop. What used to be discarded now gets repurposed, and it becomes a resource that feeds right back into the system. It's just smarter.
Okay, this is where it gets really fun. Let's look at some real-world companies that are doing this right now, turning things we used to call trash into treasure, starting with those so-called ugly fruits and veggies.
So our first case is all about those vegetables that are, perfectly delicious, but maybe they're a little lopsided or have a weird shape, the ones that just don't meet the cosmetic standards for the big grocery stores.
What Shiwu Wajia is doing is just brilliant. They partner with Carrefour. They take all this ugly produce that would have been thrown out, and they turn it into delicious, healthy meals. And then they sell these meals at an affordable price, especially for the elderly and for kids in the community. So think about that. They're not just stopping food waste, they're fighting hunger at the same time. It's a total win-win.
All right, next up. Remember those leftover bread crusts we were talking about at the very beginning? Well, what if I told you they could become your new favorite craft beer?
This is a perfect example of that circular thinking. One industry's waste is another's raw material. Baked Tipsy takes leftover bread from bakeries and, they actually brew beer with it. But they don't stop there. The grain that's left over from the brewing process, they take that and turn it into oatmeal. It's a complete, beautiful, multi-step loop. Okay, now for something completely different. How do you handle massive amounts of kitchen waste from, say, a chain of restaurants? Well, the answer might surprise you. You bring in a tiny but super efficient cleanup crew.
This is just fascinating stuff from the natural world. Black soldier flies are basically nature's ultimate recyclers. Their larvae can eat through huge amounts of organic waste, really, really fast.
And then the larvae themselves become a super high-protein animal feed. And their poop becomes an amazing organic fertilizer. It's a perfect biological cycle that turns a huge waste problem into 2 valuable new products for agriculture.
And for our last case, we're going even further outside the box. This one shows just how creative you can get with this circular economy, moving beyond food to create a totally new material.
So what do you do with tons of onion skins or carrot peels from a food factory? A paper-making company in Japan had this incredible idea. They mix these food scraps into the pulp and use traditional methods to create something called food paper. Every sheet has the unique color and texture of the vegetable it came from. I mean, come on, how cool is that? It's solving a food waste problem and a paper shortage problem at the exact same time.
Okay, so seeing all these big examples is awesome and inspiring. But you're probably wondering, that's great, but what can I do? How can we bring this whole circular mindset to our own dinner tables?
Well, here are 5 pretty simple things to think about. First, try to choose food from farms that use responsible, eco-friendly practices. Next, go for foods with fewer weird additives. A big one is making low-carbon choices, which can be as simple as eating more plant-based meals. And whenever you can, support your local farmers. It cuts down on those food miles. And finally, bring that resource circulation right into your own kitchen. Use the whole vegetable, the stems, the leaves, the peels, and get creative with your leftovers. Every single one of these choices really does add up.
And I think this quote just says it all, doesn't it? We're not going to change the world in a day, but we can start with something small, something powerful. And that's just changing how we look at and how we deal with waste.
So, I'll leave you with this question. The next time you see a crooked carrot or you look at the leftovers in your fridge, what are you going to see? Will you see waste that needs to be thrown out? Or will you see a treasure just full of potential, waiting for its next great purpose? Thanks so much for joining me.